Good morning, dear friends. Today we start with our Lenten retreat, and our theme is to be God's heart in the world today. Now we start with the Gospel reading. The proclamation of the good news for our time, according to St. Matthew. Glory be to you, O Lord. Then Jesus was led up by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. He fasted 40 days and 40 nights, and afterwards he was famished. The tempter came and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, command these stones to become loaves of bread." But he answered, "It is written, one does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God." Then the devil took him to the holy city and placed him on the pinnacle of the temple, saying to him, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, He will command His angels concerning you, and on their hands they will bear you up, so that you will not dash your foot against a stone." Jesus said to him, "Again it is written, do not put the Lord your God to the test." Again the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their splendor. And he said to him, "All this I will give you, if you will fall down and worship me." Jesus said to him, "Away with you, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve only Him." Then the devil left him, and suddenly angels came and waited on him. This is the good news of our salvation. Praise be to you, Lord Jesus Christ. There are three things that we would like to point out in this reading. And these are the types of temptations which Jesus experienced. But take note that in the Gospel of Matthew, it was the devil that tempted Jesus, but it was occasioned by the will of the Spirit, who led Jesus to the desert to be tempted by the devil. Can you imagine? The Spirit leading Jesus to the desert to be tempted by the devil. There was a plan according to Matthew. And then Jesus fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. That recalls the experience of Israel in the desert. And then he was hungry. In that utter loneliness that surrounded him, in his isolation in the desert, and in his situation of hunger, extreme hunger, with the possibility of death, this was the dire occasion for the temptation. But with the work of the Spirit. Ano to yung bang intentional itong ginagawa ni Jesus Kasi the Spirit motivated him para magkaroon siya ng karanasan of being alone in the desert. Para magkaroon siya ng karanasan of total deprivation in his aloneness in the desert. Wala siyang mapupuntahan. Ang pumunta sa kanya, ang devil. And then the first temptation. The first temptation is to survive by fulfilling the desires of the appetite, human needs, human want. gutom ako, nauhaw ako, gusto ko ng bahay, those things. And Jesus said, man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God. Naranasan niyo to? Have you experienced this? When you're hungry, and then you pray, and then you encounter God in the intensity of your prayer, and you don't feel the hunger anymore, and you just like to stay there and be with God. That proves it. That proves it. May marami kang problema, akala mo nag-iisa ka, and then you offer and you tell God of these problems. And even though you cannot find the answers right away, you feel invigorated, as if you have crossed the border of despair and have that faith and courage again. Ito yun. Ito yun. Huwag kang sumurrender sa temptation of the desire, of the appetite, of the want. The second temptation is the temptation of faith. Temptation of faith. Sabi ng devil, sige, tumalon ka. Anyway, may mga anghel naman na tutulong sa iyo. At sila ay will help you so that you will not be dashed on the stone. Hindi ka masugatan. And then Jesus said, you should not put your God to the test. Ibig sabihin nito, yung faith natin ay hindi theoretical. Ang faith natin ay konkreto, practical. Natatawa ako yung isang mga tao ba na nagdadasal, na kumakanta, ganon. Tapos araw-araw nasa simbahan sila palagi. Yung kapitbahay namin, nakita ni Papa mga alas 11:30 na nasa church pa rin. So sabi ni Papa, why are you here? Said, Maning, we are here because we are praising God and we're worshiping God. And then, sabi ni Papa, yung mga bata ninyo, nasa bahay lang po, baka gutom na sila. We will leave them to God. Sabi ni Papa, ano? Ang Diyos na ang papalutuin ninyo sa mga anak ninyo? So, yun. That's the infantile, impractical faith. God does not work that way, and our faith does not work that way. Our faith is more practical and objective. Kaya may mga temptations tayo doon eh. Kaya ito ang pag-iisipan din natin. And the third temptation is the temptation of idolatry. Worship me. I am God. My wealth and my power, that makes me God. Worship me. Sabi ni Jesus, no, there is only one God and Him only you worship. Ito yung kabuuan ng mga temptations natin. Pinakamalalim, sagad na sagad. At huwag tayong mabibighani ng mga temptations. Sinasabi, masululutas ang mga problema mo kung manalo ka sa loto. O malulutas ang problema mo kung pupunta ka doon sa mga nasa mayayaman o nasa kapangyarihan dahil bibigyan kanila ng kanilang pera o kapangyarihan. Hindi yun ang tunay na kalutasan. Our real salvation rests in God. Him alone shall we worship and no one else. Ang suggestion ko po, we will fast about, we start with our personal things. For example, our appetite. For example, the way we believe. For example, the way we adore God. Fasting or self-deprivation is important because it leads us to a situation where we know we are nothing. We are no one, and we need God. Kaya mahalaga itong tinatawag nating fasting, voluntary suffering in order to have a more intense recognition of the presence of God in our lives. So ngayon, meron akong kaibigan, sabi niya, Ben, mag-fast ako. Ngayong week na to, hindi ako iinom ng beer. That's nice. And then sabi niya, after 5 bottles. After 5 bottles, babalik din. Pero truly, what is it that you like most? Comfortable most with your body, with your desire, that you can do away with, because even without them, you will survive because you will have God with you. Isa dyan, halimbawa, mahilig kang uminom, mahilig kang kumain, chocolate, mahilig ka ng sine, ganyan. Sa katawan, voluntarily inflict deprivation to your body so that you will recognize and know God. Or, for example, mahilig ka sa computer, sa internet. Ilang beses ka pumunta sa mga pornographic materials online when actually you could fast from that kind of pornographic materials so that you can do better for others, for God. Or, for example, palaging nanonood ng sine para sa sarili mo. Huwag ka munang manood, i-save mo yung ginagasto mo, save whatever you can save from not going to the movies so that you can have something for others. And now the prayer. Put yourself in the presence of God. Behold Jesus in front of you, being tempted by the devil. Enter into the mystery of the life of Jesus. Observe what He is going to do while He is being tempted by the devil. And then pray that your desires will be a desire for God and for God's people. Pray that your faith will be more authentic and practical rather than a faith that is subjective and personal and private. And pray that you will recognize God not in the wealthy and in the powerful, but in the little ones, in the poor and the deprived. Because Jesus specifically and most especially lived and identified Himself with them. And then share. And then share. Look for people who have no one to turn to and give your time for them. Look for children who have no food to eat and give them something to eat. Look for young people who are addicted to so many types of addictions, sex and drugs, and let them know that depriving themselves of these addictions will make them better persons. Persons with strength and firmness, people with the Spirit of God. Do that because the Spirit of God is in you.